Breaking news today. The United Kingdom has calculated that Putin has lost over 300,000 people in Ukraine. According to estimates from the United Kingdom, the number of Russian military personnel killed or wounded in the country's invasion of Ukraine has surpassed 300,000. The United Kingdom's Minister for the Armed Forces, James Heappey, has revealed the country's estimate of the losses Vladimir Putin has suffered since the invasion began in February of last year. We estimate that approximately 302,000 Russian military personnel have been killed or wounded, and tens of thousands more have already deserted since the start of the conflict, he said on Tuesday in response to questions from John Healey, the Shadow Secretary of State for Defense. Mr. Heappey detailed the massive resource drain suffered by Russia, stating that the country had lost thousands of military vehicles, naval vessels, and equipment. We also estimate that over 7,117 Russian armored vehicles, including nearly 2,475 main battle tanks, 93 fixed-wing aircraft, 132 helicopters, 320 unmanned aerial vehicles, 16 naval vessels of all classes, and over 1,300 artillery systems of all types have been destroyed since the start of the conflict, he added. The number of casualties estimated by the UK is in line with that calculated by Kyiv on Tuesday, which placed Russia's total military casualties at 313,470. Mr. Heappey, when asked about casualties sustained by Russian PMCs during the war, said an accurate count is impossible due to logistical challenges. He said, "It is unclear how many personnel have been killed while serving in Russian PMCs. Russian PMCs and volunteer units were used to supplement Russian forces in Ukraine, but their members' deaths were not counted in the Russian military's official death toll." One of Russia's most renowned PMCs, the Wagner Group, was involved in some of the bloodiest fighting in Ukraine. In Ukraine, the group has lost a lot of men. However, after an attempted mutiny this year led by the now-deceased Yevgeny Prigozhin, many Wagner fighters agreed to relocate to Belarus. Kyiv, however, later said several hundred of them had returned to eastern Ukraine. Since the beginning of the war in Ukraine, Russia has not revealed any official casualties suffered by it. Both Moscow and Kyiv have kept information about their respective battlefield casualties under wraps. Early in the conflict, Russia openly reported that more than 6,000 of its soldiers had been killed. According to activists and independent journalists, the Russian media has stifled coverage of military losses. It has become an act of defiance to record the deaths in the country, and those who do so are increasingly targets of harassment and even prosecution. The British Ministry of Defence estimated in February that between 40,000 and 60,000 Russians had been killed in the conflict. A leak from the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency estimated 35,000 to 43,000 Russian casualties in the first year of the conflict.